John Calvin McCoy, also known as the father of Kansas City, was a man who vigorously developed early Kansas City. He was born in 1811 in Vincennes, Indiana, and was also one of the only 4 children out of 14 who lived to adulthood. During 1826 and 1827, he studied at Transylvania College as a trained land surveyor in Lexington, Kentucky. At the age of 19 in 1830, he came to the West with his parents Isaac and Christiana McCoy. Because Reverend Isaac McCoy served as a Baptist minister and missionary to the Native Americans, he moved into the area with his family on December 28, 1831. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 caused him to move his missionaries in the East to new Western territories. Isaac specifically concentrated on his ministry to the Shawnee Indians, as they had been forced into the area, though he had already set up multiple missionaries for different tribes before they moved into the area. As the tribes traveled west, Reverend McCoy and his 20-year-old son John also moved west with them. They wanted to survey lands and maintain missions and schools in order to help the American Indians be free. Isaac's fondness towards the American Indians caused John to believe that tribes should be free from wicked orders. With approximately 90,000 American Indians in the area, he grasped the financial benefit of establishing a commerce with them. In 1833, John Calvin McCoy constructed a 2-story log cabin trading post at 444 Westport Road on the northeast corner of modern-day Westport Road and Pennsylvania Avenue. Even though McCoy initially made it a land property investment, it later became a general supply store for fur traders, mountain men, Native Americans, farmers, and wagon trains traveling west. It was also known as a residence. 2 years later, after plotting the land around the store, he named the town Westport as 2 words, making him the founder of Westport as one. Because Westport was close to the Missouri River and the trails, it became a favorite stopping point for the Santa Fe, California, and Oregon trails. McCoy discovered a rock ledge along the Missouri River and 3 miles north of Westport. Initially, he obtained his goods and supplies from riverboats from nearby Independence, which was a lengthy trip from Westport. Eventually, he persuaded the riverboats to unload their supplies at the landing area closer to Westport. This new landing point permitted the boats to unload supplies and settlers closer to the 3 trails. Correspondingly, Westport Landing was founded, along with the road that transferred supplies 4 miles to McCoy's store. Westport Landing was originally at the foot of Grand Avenue. John Calvin McCoy was a slave owner, though it is not known how many slaves he owned. In fact, his father was also a slave owner. In 1835, he purchased a female slave named Cheney. He specifically claimed that he opposed slavery and that he only purchased Cheney to prevent her from being segregated from her husband and children by being sold through the slave market. On January 23, 1838, John Calvin McCoy married Virginia Christiana Chick. Together they had 6 children who were Josephus, Eleanor, Juliet, Spencer Cone, William Chick, and Virginia. After his wife died from cholera, he married again to a woman named Betty and fathered at least 4 more children. McCoy took the chance to find another town at the riverfront and encouraged 13 other investors to join, eventually forming the Town Company of Kansas in 1838. Gabriel Prudhomme, a blacksmith, originally bought 257 acres of land under the government's Homestead Rights Act. 5 years after his death from a barroom brawl, the courts finally decided that his 257 acres of land should be sold. The Town Company of Kansas bought his property for $4,220 on November 14, 1838. As McCoy was one of the primary investors, the 14 members invested laboriously together in the property of the town of Kansas. He also drew the town's first plat map in 1846, splitting the land into 318 lots available for purchase. In 1863, McCoy was forced to leave behind Westport because of the Civil War General Order No. 11, an order in which families in western Missouri were forced to evacuate their homes. Eventually, he was permitted to return. John Calvin McCoy died in 1889, the same year the town expanded to officially be known as Kansas City. He died in his home at 711 Olive Street, Kansas City, Missouri, and was buried at the Union Cemetery. Westport, Kansas City's oldest entertainment district, includes brew pubs, DJ bars, and good old-fashioned diners. A statue of McCoy along the pioneers Alexander Majors and Jim Bridger currently stands in Pioneer Park on Broadway and Westport Road. McCoy's Public House and Brewery is also open as a hangout spot with unique cuisines and cocktails. Not only that, but there's a collection of McCoy's writings compiled by W. W. Harris Jr. called Tales of an Old Timer. It includes early reflections, stories, and drawings of Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas by John Calvin McCoy. McCoy explains how he's looking forward to the new lands that he helped shape rather than the lands from before.